Strange new details coming out of a plane crash in Washington County. What first responders have to say.
As Utahns gather across the state for Memorial Day, a reminder for the reason of this pause.
The sheriff's office warning that this large avalanche debris field below Bridalveil Falls is dangerous and to stay off.
KSL Live at 5 starts now.
Thank you for joining us on this Memorial Day. People across the country taking the time today to pause and remember those who sacrificed for our country.
Yeah, many veterans also sharing stories of that sacrifice, delivering message to the next generation. That includes those right here at home.
We have team coverage tonight. Our team tracking everything from Memorial Day events to weather to those conditions out on the roads.
Start things off with news specialist Jed Bull. He joins us now from the Capitol, where a wreath commemorating Utahns who gave their lives for the country has been on display all day long. Jed?
Yeah, exactly, Mike. You know, the Department of Veterans and Military Affairs here in Utah put on their annual Memorial Day ceremony here on the south steps of the Capitol. Others have come by throughout the day to pause and remember the importance of this holiday. The service was an opportunity for members of the public to join Governor Spencer Cox and U.S. Representative Blake Moore for reflection and remembrance. A 21-gun salute honored those who sacrificed their lives for our country. The governor reminding everybody that today is specifically dedicated to those who died in service of our country. The governor asserted that the United States isn't just about prosperity or having an amazing economy. Our country represents a bold idea of freedom and equality for which people fought and died.
All of us are born with those rights, and government is formed to protect those rights, not the other way around. And that idea, just that idea, changed the course of human history.
The men and women who died while serving.
In Sandy, Larkin Mortuary continued its annual Memorial Day service that they started 24 years ago to help families honor their loved ones and the military veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. Jenny Taylor spoke at that gathering. She is the Gold Star widow of Utah Army National Guard Major Brent Taylor, who was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2018. Coming up at 6, Jenny Taylor shares her thoughts on the value of the ultimate sacrifice for all of us in America. For Live at 5, I'm Jed Bull.
Jed, thank you. In Kaysville, community members gathering.
Driving.
New tonight, 2 people walking away without injuries after a plane made an emergency landing in a soccer field. West Jordan fire officials say the plane took off from the South Valley Regional Airport before landing nearby. Fire officials say the plane clipped a tree, which caused a small fuel leak that they were able to contain. Right now, the cause of the emergency landing is under investigation. And tonight, new details in a bizarre plane crash in Washington County. A fire deputy chief recounting what the pilot told first responders before he suddenly left the scene of the crash after refusing their help. News specialist Lauren Steinbrecher is live this evening. Lauren, you spoke to the Enterprise deputy chief and the pilot's family today?
Yeah, and the story changes a little depending on who you ask. The fire department telling me the man told them one thing, his family now saying another. Now, that plane went down yesterday afternoon near Flat Top Mountain South, which is west of Enterprise in southern Utah. Enterprise Fire and EMS arrived first on scene. Now, Deputy Chief Jeff Germain tells me they found the pilot hiking out unharmed. Now, he says the pilot did not want their help, refused medical attention, and told them he had just purchased the plane yesterday and was flying it home when he crashed. Well, when things really get strange, Germain says happened when they brought him down to their vehicle and were trying to talk to him.
Within a couple minutes, we turned around and he had left the scene of the crash. And at that point, we turned it over to the local authorities because we were really confused to why somebody would leave the scene of an airplane crash. It just doesn't make sense.
I did call the owner of the plane, speaking with someone who said they're an immediate family member, telling me the pilot is not injured, that he actually did not just buy the plane, but has owned it for a while. Now, according to the FlightAware flight tracker of this plane, it flew out of Las Vegas around 12:30 p.m. yesterday. The Washington County Sheriff's Office saying it crashed in that area after taking off from a private airstrip about 3 miles from the crash site. The FAA is now investigating. Lauren Steinbrecher, KSL-5 News.
Lauren, thank you. An update to a boil order in Camas. Some service members across Utah, people are taking time this Memorial Day. Pause and remember those who sacrificed for our country. The true meaning of Memorial Day has been a recurring theme. News specialist Jed Bull has a story from Utah Capitol where a wreath commemorating the Utahns who gave their lives for our country has been on display all day long. Jed?
The Utah Department of Veterans and Military Affairs put on their annual Memorial Day ceremony here on the south steps of the Capitol, and others have come by throughout the day to pause and remember. More than 200 people joined Governor Spencer Cox and U.S. Representative Blake Moore for reflection and remembrance.
Patriotism takes work. There is a responsibility that comes with being an American. And I worry that far too many of us are forgetting the work of being an American.
A 21-gun salute honored those who sacrificed their lives for our country.
We certainly do have Veterans Day, but Memorial Day honors those who have given the ultimate sacrifice to our great country.
Approximately 3,500 Utahns, dating back to World War I, have paid that price. The governor asserted that America isn't just about prosperity or having an amazing economy. Our country represents a bold idea of freedom and equality for which people have fought and died.
All of us are born with those rights, and government is formed to protect those rights, not the other way around. And that idea, just that idea, changed the course of human history.
Jenny Taylor's husband made the ultimate sacrifice nearly 5 years ago. Utah Army National Guard Major Brent Taylor was killed in action in Afghanistan.
It's a very emotional day with mixed feelings. I'm sad that my husband's not here, and even more sad to know there's hundreds of thousands of other service members not here on Earth anymore because of their sacrifice.
She spoke in Sandy as Larkin Mortuary continued its annual Memorial Day tradition started 24 years ago.
Today is the day to celebrate the American dream. We would not have our opportunity to pursue the American dream if men and women weren't willing to die for that dream.
She says it's nearly impossible to imagine our country without that dream.
Pausing for a moment to think of the dreams we're all eager to live and the price that has been paid so that we can live them.
Jenny Taylor says this day fills her with gratitude for the sacrifices of the past and also the incredible hope that it gives us for our future. For KSL-5 News, I'm Jed Bull.
Jed, thanks. This Memorial Day also under the influence.
In West Jordan, 2 people lucky to walk away unscathed after a small plane crash. It happened this morning. Officials with the West Jordan Fire Department telling us that the crash happened shortly after takeoff at the South Valley Regional Airport. That plane making an emergency landing in those soccer fields just south of the runway. No injuries there or damage to the park. The cause of this crash is still under investigation. And some major traffic backups along details emerging tonight in a strange plane crash situation in Washington County over the weekend. First responders here recounting what the pilot told them before disappearing from the scene.
The FAA is now investigating. News specialist Lauren Steinbrecher spoke with the deputy fire chief who was left trying to make sense of what happened.
That deputy fire chief telling me that when the call came in, they rushed out to rescue that pilot, but saying that not only did the pilot not want their help, what he said did not add up.
For a rural fire department, Deputy Chief Jeff Germain hasn't gotten too many calls like this.
Correct. They witnessed the aircraft come over them and lose altitude and then crash over the side of the mountain.
Someone saw a plane go down near Flat Top Mountain southwest of Enterprise in southern Utah yesterday. Jermaine's crews headed out, saying, according to an emergency alert they believe came from the pilot's watch, the incident was reported as an ATV crash.
That just really put us in, like, where are we going and what do we expect when we get there?
They arrived to find the pilot hiking down from this upside-down plane, saying he was unhurt and crashed on a solo flight home.
He had purchased the plane that day. That's what we were told from him. And he took off from a dirt airstrip about 3 miles down the canyon.
He refused medical attention, Jermaine says, and after bringing him down to their vehicle to get more information.
Within a couple minutes, we turned around and he had left the scene of the crash. We were really confused to why somebody would leave the scene of an airplane crash. It just doesn't make sense.
I called the owner of the plane, speaking with someone who said they're an immediate family member, telling me the pilot actually hadn't just purchased the plane and has owned it for a while. The person said he walked away unhurt and had no further comment. The FlightAware tracker shows the plane taking off from Las Vegas hours prior. Jermaine isn't sure what to make of it all.
It's just a very bizarre turn of events.
But says the pilot is lucky.
At the end of the day, we're glad he actually, is alive.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office says several teams responded, including Enterprise Fire, as well as Air Life, the DPS helicopter, of course, their deputies, and search and rescue. They say from here, the FAA is investigating. Lauren Steinbrecher, KSL-5 News.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, take a look at this. One driver to figure out what caused the plane to crash. Another plane going down, this one in West Jordan. The pilot and passenger in this one are doing okay. They had to make an emergency landing in the soccer field near the South Valley Regional Airport. This happened Monday morning just after takeoff. We don't know why they had to land, but the damage to the field and plane was minimal.
Breaking overnight in Russia, local officials report vote.
And I worry that far too many of us are forgetting the work of being an American.
More than 200 people joined Governor Cox and other state leaders for reflection and remembrance over this Memorial Day. The governor reminding Utahns our country represents freedom and equality for which people fought and died. And approximately 3,500 Utahns dating back to World War I have paid that price.